And we're back. Welcome in. It's Tuesday morning. Lisa almost forgot her mic. Jonathan, of course, is out today. He is on a big road trip all across the country doing all kinds of fun, big things. So instead, I get to hang out with Lisa today. Thanks for coming by, Lisa.
Thank you, Kyler, for having me. It's great to be back, not just here, but in Minot.
Exactly. You've been gone for like a little while this summer. You've been out of town a little bit doing some traveling.
Yep. It's kind of become a tradition for us. We spend the month of June with my parents, and my kids go to the VBS program in Mankato with my sister and her kids. So, yeah, they always really enjoy doing that.
Mankato's a great little place down there. Yep. Really fun suburb outside of Minneapolis there. What was your favorite part of the trip coming back up?
Oh, well, actually, my parents surprised us with a camping trip out in the Black Hills.
Really?
So that was by far my favorite part of the trip.
Black Hills are such a fun place. Had you been before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We went out there a lot growing up.
Okay.
But it has been a while since I've been there. Fair. And so first time for the kids, and they absolutely loved it.
It was fun to take your kids there.
Yeah.
Have them experience something you experienced growing up, that full circle kind of moment.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Good quality time with the grandparents.
Oh, exactly. Makes such a difference. And now that you're back, you were able to attend a swearing-in ceremony last night.
Yes.
We have a new chief of police finally. We've been, almost like not quite a year into it yet, but probably like 10 months ago, I think this whole process kicked off. Back in January, we had the interim step up, and now finally, I think about a month or 2 months ago, we had the announcement made that we were going to get Michael Fry, and now finally today, here we are.
Yeah.
How was the ceremony last night?
Oh, it was great. I was really impressed with the turnout, the representation from city council, and
looked packed.
Yeah, it was. And of course, I brought the kids, and so they got to experience that.
That's fun.
I just think it's important for them to experience that and learn and be educated in that way about things.
So are they going to be on, or are they going to be with you at the next city council meeting?
I don't know if I'm going to put them through. When I got back, what was that one?
It was like four and a half hours, something like that. Yeah. I remember I got off work at like 8 that night, and I was like, oh, there's no point in me going. It's probably wrapped up by now. No, not a chance. Went till like 10 that night.
Yeah.
That was a fun council meeting. Do you have any takeaways from that in hindsight? Just quick shots. I know we kind of broke it down last week, but
yeah,
you were there. You made it. I missed that one.
Yeah, no, that one was a really good one. I thought there was a lot of good conversations being done. I know they spend quite a time on the personal appearances and how that's going to be kind of laid out.
That was some wordsmith minutia of an event there.
Yeah.
Then there was the big flood control thing.
Yes.
Hopefully that gets figured out okay. I know there's still progress being made.
Yep.
And now we're rolling into July now. I forgot to mention at the top, we're 3 weeks away from the mayor election.
Yes.
We have 3 weeks to go. It's exciting. We're finally almost done with it. We still have to get through the fair first, though.
Oh, yeah. Are you making plans to get out there? Anything in particular?
I always go a couple days a year. This is going to be the first year I've gone to the parade in like 9-10 years.
Okay.
I got asked to, along the parade route, there's different booths where people announce the parade floats. I was asked to announce at one of the booths, so I get to hang out by the zoo and talk about the parade floats all morning.
That's awesome.
I'm excited
for you.
It's going to be a blast. I'm going to get sunburned, and I look forward to it.
That'll be fun.
Oh, it will.
I know we'll be out there, so if we see you, definitely.
I'll be there. Don't. Anyone, if you're out and around by the zoo, don't feel afraid to come say hi. I will only make it a little awkward, I promise. Back to Chief Fry, though. He comes in, obviously, a lot of turmoil with what we had going on over the last year. Do you think he can be a good bridge to help kind of transition Minot out of a rough patch there?
Absolutely. I was really sad initially that I missed the town hall and the meet and greet. But I did go back and watch it, and I was just right away immediately impressed with his presentation, the goals that he has, and his prior experience. But one thing that really, like one of his key points that I really had a lot of appreciation for was just his focus on the community relationship with Minot PD and how important that is for him. Before we started, I was telling you how citizens are not going to have to worry about him not being approachable.
Yeah.
He'll approach you right away. That's just how personable that he is. And I think that's really what we need. And he's really going to bring closeness in that way where we all feel like we're in good standing. We just, I don't know, relationship building is really what I got from him. And I think that's really what we need right now.
Yeah, he's going to be someone that I think can come in and be a good face of the police department. Obviously, there's always some connotations about the police in general, whether it be in Minot or anywhere. So when you have someone that is outgoing and wants to be a vocal leader, I think that's going to make a difference, and hopefully especially in a place like Minot here, where perception has been an issue for a little while. And so being able to turn that page and get onto a better footing is going to be a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, he at the ceremony yesterday, he had his best friend from Florida come up and do the pinning, and everyone just has wonderful things to say about him, and so I'm just really excited to see where he leads us. And you know, just being in the room, he was making people laugh. Like it's just a totally different energy, and
extremely personable.
What we've been through, it's just a nice, different feeling. Yeah.
Look forward to that, kind of fully getting into that chapter. We haven't like officially reached out, like indirectly. Last time I saw him, I told him I'd love to have him on, and he said he'd love to come on. So Chief Fry, if you're watching, the invitation's official. We would love to have you on. We'll definitely reach out through the right channels to do so. But we're definitely plan on having him on at some point, whether it's on one of our lives or if Jonathan gets to do a solo interview with him on the Minot Talk, one way or the other. It's going to be great.
Perfect.
Or excuse me, Jonathan does Minot Matters. We're on Minot Talk right now. Fun times. So we're obviously 3 weeks away from the mayor race. You were gone for a while, so have you been able to follow it closely?
I did a little bit. I went back and watched the debate and try to keep up with a lot of the articles and just posts that people were having out about it. And so I honestly think it's going to be a close call. Like, I really do.
How do you think turnout's going to look? Obviously, we had a little under 2,000 people for the park board election.
Yeah.
Where do you think that's going to fall for the mayor race?
I think we're going to see an increase.
Yeah.
Just given, obviously, the history and like we've mentioned, just what Minot has been through as a whole. I do think that people are paying attention. I do see a lot of interaction on social media, but I do hope that people take it obviously and actually go and make sure that they vote. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very close one. Yeah,
because one thing too that we've harped on from as soon as we figured it out, there's no early voting this year, but you still can go get your absentee ballot from the Ward County Administration Building. Bring your ID. You can fill it out there. Don't even have to take it home and mail it back. You can drop it in the ballot box they have there, and you're good to go. Yeah. Really simple process. They make it easy as can be. And then, of course, day of voting at the Minot Auditorium, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's going to be the big time. And we're 3 weeks away. We're going to go live that night. We're doing like a whole thing again. We're going to cover the election as results come in. We'll have to have you on at some point. And we're going to hopefully get a few people on that we can kind of zoom back and forth with. It's going to be a blast.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, we're going to hopefully get those election results ASAP, and we'll hopefully have whoever the winner is on live.
Awesome. That's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Tell me about it. That's what I live for with this.
Yeah.
One of the first big things that I got to do here was like last June during the primary race. Jonathan and I went live for like 3 hours that night. That was a blast. Yeah. He might not agree with me on that. So I know if you're watching, Jonathan, this one won't be 3 hours, but it'll be fun. So any other kind of mayoral takeaways from this summer so far, going into now that we're into July? We're not going into it anymore.
Well, I just I'm really impressed with how well all of them have been, showing up to events and being present. I think obviously that's one of the most important things that you can do when you are running a campaign, regardless of the level of campaign that it is.
You have experience in that.
Yeah. And but they've done really well. Just trying to keep that interest out there as far as like that push just to get out and vote and to give information. That's going to be vital for people to understand a lot of the the goals that they also have too, if they were to be mayor. So no, I've been, I mean, of course there's always the the drama that comes with races too.
And there's more of that in the mare race than we've seen in a while with this one.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people were expecting that. I know me personally, I was not. So
I know it's all over the board. It's been a blast. Yeah. Well, for us, I'm sure not for them as much, but shout out to all four of you guys for running regardless.
Absolutely.
It's something that needs to happen. And again, can't wait. 3 weeks out, election day. It's going to be a good time.
Yes.
Before we're off of that too, we mentioned the parade earlier. I know for a fact at least 2 of the candidates are going to have parade floats.
Oh, okay.
So be on the lookout. I think Mark Janser and Rob Fuller have floats, if I remember seeing the list right. So make sure to be on the look for that Saturday morning. And it's going to be a good time.
Very cool. We'll be actually sitting through the parade this time. Last time we were in the parade, obviously,
of course,
which was a lot of fun. But I think the kids will appreciate being able to sit and get candy.
I was going to say they get to collect the candy this time. That was the whole reason I went as a kid. Get a bucket full of candy. Like there's some like bubbles and stuff that people do, which is great. But I was there. I mean, clearly, I was there for the candy.
I mean, they had a lot of fun being able to throw it out too.
Of course.
They had a blast.
I bet it was. I've never actually been in the parade myself. I've never walked in a float yet. So, Jonathan, if you're watching, maybe next year we might have to do something. Oh, never know.
Yeah. I think you should.
I love it. I think we should have a booth at the fair next year too. Jonathan, I'm making plans without you, man. We won't sell anything. We'll just hang out there like half the day and see what happens. Maybe we'll do our podcast from the fair. That'd be a blast.
That would be cool.
That'd
do a little live. Yeah.
That'd be epic. Thinking out loud here, Lisa.
I love it.
We're planning here. Big things are in the future. So let's move into some news from around the state here. A local one I think we'll start with that you have a lot of info on. There is a big phase 2 of the Metropolitan Transportation Plan is having a big meeting tonight online on Zoom. If anyone doesn't know, the Metro Transportation Plan is a big plan that goes out into the year 2050. It is it's effectively how to structure Minot's infrastructure around town and plan it out into the future, with Minot becoming a growing, at this point, metropolis with over 50,000 in the immediate surrounding area.
Yeah. Scott Burlingame from Independence actually reached out and sent me the link and told me about the virtual town hall. So I was really appreciative of that. But if anyone does have the chance, I really strongly encourage you to look up that link, and I think we're going to work on getting a link at
I'm going to try to post it right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to do it right, but I am posting in Facebook and YouTube comments via my own Facebook page. So Kyler is in there commenting right now. I'm copying and pasting. Hopefully the links work. If not, copy paste it yourself.
Yeah, the town hall is going to be tonight from 5 to 7. And then they also did a pretty extensive survey. So like we were mentioning earlier as well, this is a perfect opportunity for people that if you have an opinion or would like to learn about the projects and get an idea of what they're trying to accomplish, please do that. I mean, it's really quick, it's really easy, and they really break down into details each project. And they, I had 0 questions after reading through it. It was that well done. But yeah, everything from construction to mobility projects. It's all things that people should be paying attention to.
100%. And they're giving you incredibly easy access tonight. You can just sign up. You don't even have to have a webcam to do it. You can just access the audio link to it, and you can sit in, listen to it all. You can I'm assuming there will be a Q&A portion of it at some point, with it being 2 hours long. But just a really quick overview of the project from the website itself. The second phase of the Central Dakota Metropolitan Transportation Plan focuses on identifying how the region should prioritize future transportation projects and establishing a strategic framework to guide decisions. Building on the foundation laid in the initial phase, this stage is critical for aligning future investments with the community's evolving needs and long-term vision for streets and transit systems. Led by the Central Dakota MPO and its Technical Advisory Committee, this phase ensures that project selection is both data-driven and community-informed, supporting enhanced connectivity and mobility throughout the Central Dakota region. and then it lists a ton of key components for the plan. So it's something that's going to be, I mean, it's happening regardless if we want it or not to at this point. Minot is set, even if Minot continues to stagnate in population. This isn't something that's going to go away at this point.
Right. And that's why, we are just really pushing people to get involved with this. The survey will even ask you, which of these projects is most important to you? Which one would you like to, and funding as well. Where would you like the funding to go towards? So they give you a lot of different options. And like I said, I thought it was really well done. And, I know we all appreciate having nice roads and pedestrian bike access and sidewalks being taken care of. So this is just one of those things too that don't, sit out on, get involved and learn about it.
Exactly. That's key, because if you are able to get out and try to help get your opinion out onto this subject, it legitimately could influence how Minot looks 25, 30 years from now. It's part of that long-term building goal. It's what we want the city to eventually look like. Obviously, downtown Minot has changed drastically over the last 10 years. Imagine what the rest of the city can look like if you have not similar in the drastic and immediate nature of that, but over 30 years when we have minor incremental changes all across the city, imagine what it could look like at that point.
Yep. And I just want to say too that there's just a lot of appreciation with the amount of work and planning that has gone into this, and that in the long run, I know construction is not always our best friend, but
we've experienced that this summer, but it's necessary.
It is, and I think sometimes we take that for granted a little bit, just having nice roads to drive on and to just remember that it's not always a safe job too. So I always have a soft spot for our construction and road crew. So
because it's such a dichotomy of it. Like we're limited to so much time a year that we can do construction up here. Obviously, we know this, but when we're doing it, we have so much that needs done on top of that. Not only just on a regular basis, but Minot, they've said it publicly, we've struggled to keep up with some of the massive amounts of projects we have across the city. And so this year they doubled down and they put a little bit more money and effort into it. And we can see it around town right now. Yeah. It's especially, I think it was I don't know if it was last Tuesday or Thursday when Jonathan and I were on, we power ranked the available roads across North and South Minot. There was only 4 at that point. I think we're back up to 5 now, but it's been a blast. And then 3rd Street Bridge is half closed again now. That was on Thursday. That's right. I'm remembering now. Yeah. That's too bad. Do you think we get a new bridge? I think we just have to at this point.
Yeah,
right?
I think so too. I mean, I feel like once you've done so much work on,
how much more can you?
Vulnerable, then I feel like might as well just.
How much can you patch it?
Yeah, exactly. Before it kind of, just gets worse in the long run.
What's the term? Catastrophic failure. We don't need anything like that. Yeah. So I guess let's go to the state and the feds and get some money for a new bridge, because I think that's something out of Minot's purview, but I don't know for sure. We'll probably have a shared contribution to it. That's something that I know will be on the agenda at the next city council meeting. They're discussing that for sure. So I look forward to hearing that. I want to see what city engineer Lance Meyer has to say on it. Because I'm really interested in that. And speaking of construction projects, one thing that I saw yesterday that Miranda Schuler, county commissioner, posted, friend of the show, there is a resolution finally had with the east-west Highway 252 and Highway 83 bypass corridor. There was like $4 million in funding that's coming through, so expect something to finally be getting done there.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's been obviously a lot going on with that intersection for a while now, and it'll be good to finally have a chance to get it wrapped up a little bit there.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. I saw her post that on Facebook yesterday. I don't think I saved that one in our click up here, but yeah, that's a good one to look out for sure. On top of that, let's stick with this one. We're in Minot. 70 years ago this weekend, the Minot Air Force Base construction began. Yep. It's crazy. What has brought so much to Minot over time, so much to the nation. We're the only 2-winged of the nuclear triad program. It's 70 years ago, this past weekend on July 12th was the 70-year anniversary. Funding and early construction, it immediately had $6.2 million was what the U.S. House appropriated for construction. Could you imagine how much that would cost now?
Oh, I know.
Instead of $1 million, probably talk billion at this point.
Oh, easily.
And back then, Minot had more than just B-52s. They were actual, we had jet planes, but we had jets until I think the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. And then there was, obviously helicopters. We got the Hueys, and Minot being the only dual-wing nuclear-capable base, we have the 5th Bomb Wing and the 91st Missile Wing. And obviously, the Sentinel Missile System project is beginning to go out around the country. It's going to replace the current Minuteman III missiles. It's going to improve the long-range standoff capabilities for Minot's B-52s, and we'll have we have MH-130A Grey Wolf helicopters that will be replacing the Hueys. I don't even know what that is.
No, this project is. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. Obviously, there was I think. In total, $540 billion is what it's going to cost
across the country.
Across the country, but I think it was smart, and I don't think there was any other way to do it. Mm-hmm. Making sure that the new missile system that's coming in was, the same size as what we have now, because we're talking 90-foot silos.
Yeah, exactly.
If they would have changed that, we would have been looking at
how do you replace those at that point? Yeah,
like I said, there's no other way they could have done that.
No, you might maybe one or two you can reconstitute for something, but when you have. There's a lot. If you've driven around the countryside in North Dakota, there is a lot, you betcha. Yeah. So I think it's something that hopefully they can finally get it rolling. I know they've been talking about it for a while. There were some delays, setbacks, and they wanted to get it all done at once. But to really get that Sentinel thing going, it's going to be good for Minot. And plus the just sheer amount of people that it'll bring in for construction too. Yep. I know there's going to be, I think there was estimates, if I remember right, anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 people being brought in for construction and different kind of duties during the first couple phases of that whole thing. Right. So be a big influx to the community. Obviously, housing in Minot is its own issue right now, but
that'll definitely help.
Permanent housing anyways. We have plenty of rental opportunities in Minot. Yeah. But if you're looking for a new starter home, these people won't be. They'll just be renting anyways. They're here for construction.
You never know. Maybe they'll decide that they want to stay here.
You never know. I tried to set you up for that one. Yeah. But it's happened in the past. Yeah. People find Minot, and apparently it's pretty decent up here. Yeah. It is the Magic City for a reason.
Right. Yep.
It's not just the tragic magic. Yeah.
I don't know. Like you had mentioned, Minot Air Force Base being the only dual wing, I think that's incredibly, I don't know, that it makes us special in that way too. And I just think it's really neat that you have both. Mm-hmm. I know we were at Warren before, and we didn't have the aircrafts there.
Sure, yeah.
So I know kids really enjoy getting to see those. And
planes make a difference.
Have you ever got to tour one of the silos? I know. Unfortunately, it got canceled this year with the open house. But if you get a chance, you should do it.
I've never been into a silo before. I've seen pictures and video and stuff, but I've never physically been in it. I've been on base to some of their past open houses and air shows, but that's as close as I've gotten. Yeah. Never gotten down in the hole. Right. And we'll have to get there one day. Oh, that'd be fun. Take the Dakota and get the whole crew out there. Two of us, bring Jonathan. Get some cameras, film some stuff. That'd be a blast.
It's incredible, though.
They wouldn't like us to do that, I bet. Yeah, actually, they wouldn't
but I see what you mean, though. But, they do tours. I know, like at Warren, they have, is it Fort D. Russell Days? And they open the base during that time, too, so people get to tour and get an idea of how that all works and what everyone's role and job is and just getting to see the missile side extensively. So
I love it. Well, I think now is a great time. I think that wraps up most of our Minot stuff we had to talk about here. So I think now is a great time. We're going to hit the commercials. Got our 2 ads, so we'll be back in about 1:15.
In the demanding world of oil and gas, precision, safety, and efficiency are non-negotiable. Unmanned operator drone services revolutionizes how you monitor, inspect, and manage your operations. With cutting-edge technology and expert operators, we deliver real-time data, detailed reports, and actionable insights for our valuable clients. Why risk the safety of your team or waste precious time? Our drones access even the most challenging areas with ease, reducing downtime and enhancing safety across your sites. We take the guesswork out of your projects by offering LiDAR, mapping, and inspection services so that your projects stay safe, on budget, and on time. Unmanned operator drone services, where technology meets safety, precision, and efficiency. Contact us today to elevate your operations. Yes, pun intended.
Enjoy Minot's finest authentic Mexican cuisine with a view at Mi Mexico. The rooftop patio is open and ready for you to enjoy a margarita or other cool refreshment along with genuine mouth-watering Mexican entrees. Mi Mexico, South Broadway.
And we're back. Thank you so much for Mi Mexico and our great unmanned operator services. Fantastic drone program there. If you ever need drones, make sure you look him up. He does great work. Now, first one I want to start with something I love. I've mentioned it in the past a little bit when it was in legislation. There is a new wing of the North Dakota Heritage Center that's being built. It is a military wing, so it can, all of North Dakota's military history can be housed in the new building. It is ground was broken over, I believe, the weekend, and I look forward to that coming to light. I cannot wait to see that. I know maybe some people don't love how that money's being spent, and it could maybe be spent a little bit better somewhere else, but I personally, I'm all here for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love to see that one, and it's going to be great. Have you ever been to the Heritage Center in general? Down in Bismarck?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Great time down there. Fantastic facilities. So much to see.
Yeah.
I love how they have it sectioned off in like the eras. There's the prehistoric stuff. You go up to like the early settlers and stuff, and then closer to modern day. I love it. I can't get enough of the Heritage
Taking
Center.
the kids there a couple times, and they always have fun.
Oh, exactly.
A lot to learn.
I feel like a kid when I'm there. But on top of that, there has been a few other things going around the state over the weekend. First one that I saw this headline from the North Dakota Monitor the other day, and I was like, I had to read it a couple times. North Dakota Corrections working on 4 mini prisons to relieve overcrowding. Obviously, something that has been of note for a while is North Dakota's prison down in Bismarck has been overcrowded. Yeah. That's been an issue going on for a while. There's overcapacity by 200 plus inmates. There's 190. Yeah, we're over 200 inmates. There's 193 men, 31 females between July and May of 2025. Oh, excuse me. Those are how many were over capacity. Excuse me. I didn't read my notes right.
Yeah, yep.
It's strongly over capacity. Then one thing that was coming to light too was during this legislative cycle, they set aside money for a women's only prison, the Heart River Center, I believe, or facility. Yep. And will eventually begin construction. They're going to have 304 beds. It's going to be over $160 million, and it's scheduled to open in 2 years, but 2 years is a long way away.
It is.
So what's their plan? Well, they're going to try to set up a few different mini prisons around the state. One, they plan to be in northwest North Dakota. It's a 25-bed reentry center. It'll be either here in Minot or in Williston. It's going to support inmates returning, home post-sentence, and it can kind of fill a gap in some integration services that are missing there. So some of the biggest issues that people have in general with the penal system is you go from straight prison to right out on the streets, and there's not a lot of transition, especially for people that have been there for a long time. It can get a little bogged down at times with their transition process, and it can lead to recidivism. So one of the big things that they're trying with this is a little bit of a transitionary space. And I think that's something that could be very beneficial.
Yeah, when you talk in terms of the reentry, I think that's an area where a lot of people don't think about just how much of an influence that has on people who are getting, finishing their incarceration, and then they go back, and a lot of times they want to go back to their hometown, or they want to maybe even stick in the area. You never know, but it does make it harder for them to get acclimated and to find the resources and kind of get back on their feet. And I think this is just another area of rehabilitation for them that's going to help and potentially maybe even make it so that they don't get back into the system. And I think, like I said, it's just an area where...
And that's huge.
Don't really, it is. And So I love that they had set aside money just for that and made sure that that was a focus.
Yeah, no, for a fact. And then on top of that, they do have some additional spaces that they're building too. The first one is at the Missouri River Correctional Center. They set aside over $8 million. It's going to be for man camps. It's going to house 70 to 90 inmates, and it should be open later this year, end of summer, beginning of fall. Probably going to be a little, more of a lower quality facility, just in the way it's described in my head, but not like it'll get the job done for what they need immediately.
Right.
But hopefully without too long, we'll be able, with that Heart River facility opening in 2 years, that can really help alleviate some of that too. Then on top of that one, there's also one in Grand Forks to add additional a new wing to their jail, which will add 60 to 70 extra beds. Hopefully, and that'll start this fall. And then also a similar thing that'll be happening down in Burleigh County in Bismarck should add up to 120 beds. And that'll begin early next year. So unfortunately, a lot of these things aren't anything that's going to be happening immediately to help take a little edge off the issue, but the ball is rolling, stuff is happening, and that's something in government that it takes to actually get that process starting. It takes a lot.
Yeah, and I think there's just the fact that it's been on the table, it's been thought about and discussed, and now we are going through with all the plans that they have set aside for it. But I think that's something that people need to be appreciative too about. So, and I think this has definitely been an issue for a long time now. It really has been. So, and I hope that the impact on, the people that, people that we have working in the system, that'll help them as well too, because that's got to be tough for everybody.
Yeah, no, it creates a stress load on the people that work there. Obviously, on the inmates, they have to deal with it to a different degree at that point, and it just creates an environment all around that maybe isn't as productive as it needs to be. So, being able to alleviate that pressure is going to be huge for the state. Of course, we can discuss, potential issues with the prison system at another time. Right. That's a whole different ball game we could go into. But I think in general, this is something that should be, at least short term, very helpful for what's going on with the state right now. And on top of that, I guess any final thoughts on the new mini prisons that might be popping up? I just love that term. It made me.
Made you chuckle a little bit.
It did. I can't lie.
Yeah, when we have the issue as extensive as we do now, you kind of have to just do what we have to do. And if that was the best option that they had, then I think I'm looking forward to it. I think it's, like you said, it's going to be helpful. It's going to reduce a lot of issues that we have. But yeah, I'm excited to see how successful they are. Yeah.
So one thing that happened, it might have taken place a little before you left. Right at the end of legislative session, Governor Armstrong issued a veto. He issued a few vetoes, actually, and most of it, all normal stuff. And one of them was a line item veto where he went to try to take out some like $150,000 or $75,000 worth of specific housing to a program. Well, lo and behold, his staff took out the entire line instead of just that part. And so there's been some confusion over that over the last 6 weeks probably now. Yeah. Have you followed that situation at all?
A little bit, not so much though.
So here's the deal. Long story short, the Attorney General Drew Wrigley issued an opinion on it and effectively said the intent of the governor was clear and it was known via his verbal approval of it. However, when you look at what's on paper, he crossed off the entire thing. So according to the Attorney General, the intent is all that matters. Well, the state legislature met last Friday to try to discuss what they could do to resolve this issue. They even threw around, lawsuit kind of thing was a term that was mentioned going into it, but doesn't sound like they're going to go that route. Doesn't sound like it's worth it. I just find it interesting that they could still bring legislation to the table on this for future matters, because one of the biggest things that their arguments is this is setting a bad precedent. Yeah. That because you allow the intent of the veto rather than what the technical veto is on paper, you can open up a lot of ambiguity to that. Yeah. And that's where so much of the argument's coming from right now is, are you setting precedent? Maybe this issue itself isn't that big of a deal, and it's probably not, but are you setting precedent for an intent to veto kind of thing where later years down the line, someone does something a little hairy or sketchy and they come back and are able to reference this as a talking point for it?
Right.
And that's where some of that whole situation falls into at this point. And it was what, $36 or $35 million total from a budget bill where he was intended to veto $150,000. And the Attorney General issued that opinion, and then lawmakers met over the weekend. They had the Legislative Management Committee. They're not going to go to the Supreme Court, but instead they're working on drafting a bill, and it's going to define how vetoes work, how they are to be interpreted constitutionally and procedurally. So it's some minutia stuff, but it's something that's probably necessary after this situation.
Yep. I was just going to say, when things like this happen, it's good for them to think long term. Yeah. And like you just said, if something like this were to happen again, they have something in place. You can maybe even look at it as a form of protection. You know what
100%.
The way that they can address it. And unfortunately, it takes situations like this for them to put that out on the table. So it's unfortunate that it happened, but I think it's going to be good for them. And I think it's the process of all of this is exactly what needed to happen.
So I have a story, but before we do, I'll finish wrapping this up together here. So right now, coming out of the legislative cycle, the Legislative Assembly held 6 days, or set 6 days aside for them to potentially go into a special session at any time, whether it be for federal funding issues or potentially something like this. But the thing with getting a new bill is it takes 3 days to get it passed. So if they do go this route, either A, they need a special session to happen to get the bill passed, or B, they won't be able to get it passed until 2027. So as of right now, they're hoping to set aside, or they're hoping to have this ready for when those days they set aside come to fruition, maybe this fall when some federal funding things get figured out a little bit better, and they go to a special session. That way they can set this on the table at that point, and they can say, here's the bill. Right. Here's the definition of what it takes to veto something. Yeah. And I think it was, House Speaker Mike LaFleur wants a bill drafted within 90 days. So it could be potentially in time for a special session. And obviously that's not guaranteed. Those 6 days could go unused throughout the rest of the cycle until 2027 rolls around. But this way it has, it saves a little bit for contingency issues at that point, if anything were to pop up from it. And that's where that stands right now. It sounds like legislation is coming for it, and which I think is better than a lawsuit. I think if that wouldn't have been the best route to go, it would have just muddied and harried things more than is probably necessary. I think the legislative route is, since they didn't, the governor and crew didn't want to just call a special session and override and then re-veto it, I think this is probably the best way for it. Right,
and that way it's taken care of. Coming up to the next session, it's already just been dealt with, and they have that going forward too. So I think it's smart to just probably go through and get it done as soon as they can.
100%. So I have a really quick housekeeping note that Jonathan wanted me to mention coming out of the ad break, but I forgot because I'm a goofball. So today at 10 a.m., Jonathan has an interview with Alderman Rob Fuller coming out on a podcast. It was a paid-for podcast by the Fuller campaign, so just a heads up to everybody, and this is something that we offered at the start. We were offering all 4 candidates a podcast, and then if any of them wanted anything additional, we could certainly make that happen, but there would be some extra accommodations that would be necessary. This is one of those. So expect probably right about when we're wrapping up with this podcast on the Dakota YouTube channel, you will see a new interview with Alderman Fuller coming out from Jonathan. And they did that, end of last week, I believe. So be sure to check that out. Should be a great little interview. I'm sure he addresses some of the things that have come up over the last couple weeks here. And be sure to look for that. But, so I have a story here. I had an article I wrote that came out over the weekend that got a lot more ground than I ever anticipated it, and I appreciate everyone for sharing that. However, it has to do with this the veto here. So the North Dakota Industrial Commission, which I've talked about enough, they had a meeting back in May. It was on May 22nd. It was a couple days after this veto took place, and it was obviously the three industrial commissioners, the governor, attorney general, agriculture commissioner were all there. And immediately as the meeting kicked off, the governor addressed the veto issue. And, he said, I'm paraphrasing, you can go watch the industrial commission video. Maybe I'll post it on my Facebook or something. It's like 2 hours long, but the most important thing is like the first 90 seconds of it. And then there's a little blurb about 9 minutes in that's interesting too. But he's talking, hey, my staff messed up. I made sure they know about it, and I know about it now. Clearly, I don't plan on letting this happen again. But we also plan to go back and resolve this issue. And that was interesting. And then he doubled down about at the 9-minute mark. He said something along the lines of, I don't want to trivialize this. This is a big deal, but we're going to go back and fix it. Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems it's a little interesting that he's saying these things right in front of, I don't know. We're not going to, I don't want to. You have the attorney general and the governor in a room together, and he's expressing his opinion in a commission meeting where they're both supposed to be at, which is fine. However, this is his opinion that he's issuing on this is something that has an official opinion issued to it by the attorney general. And it just, obviously these guys talk a lot behind the scenes.
Right.
This stuff isn't not happening at some other time, I'm sure, but it's just when you see it on recording happening, it's like, man, is there a little swaying happening here?
Right.
And even indirectly, if not intentionally.
Yeah. And that's always going to spark curiosity. It's going to get people asking questions. And so I think there's a reason why, your article took off as much as it did. I mean, you always do not because you're a friend of mine.
Thank you.
But I mean, honestly, you put a lot of tremendous work into your columns, and so I think people just really appreciate transparency. Someone getting that information out to them, because I don't think really anyone would have really known about that or maybe caught it in the way that you did,
And that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's why it's not like this is a new thing by
Right.
any stretch of the imagination. It's been around over 100 years. Yeah. It's one of those things, though, that it feels like a lot of people don't know the depth of it.
Yes.
And it has a lot more or a lot wider reach than a lot of people necessarily anticipated having.
Yeah.
And it's good to highlight some of those things, because one thing I want to make clear, I don't think the Industrial Commission's a bad thing.
Right.
It's done a ton for this state, and I think its job in administering the Bank of North Dakota and the state flour mill are both great things, and it's doing the right thing. I just think there's a couple things that, after 100+ years, maybe we could start reevaluating, looking at things a little differently. Maybe some of the people that are there don't need to be there anymore, and not specifically any of those people, the governor, ag commissioner, Wrigley, Armstrong, Gehring, but it's the jobs they're in. Maybe it's something that we could look at happening.
Yeah.
Could we expand it instead of a 3-person board? Could it be a 5-person board where you have someone that's a little, obviously the governor is, but someone that's generally a little more affiliated with, oil and natural gas and the minerals, someone that has more expertise in that stuff, and vice versa on the housing aspect. And so a lot of the research programs they have, maybe they could have someone that's more into that stuff, but then you still want to keep it with the elected officials, because, that's a sort of accountability. These people are at least accountable to the voters at one point every 4 years, and there's more of a rabbit hole we could go down with that, but that's a whole different story too. And I just think that there's potential changes that could come from it here coming into the future.
Right. Well, and I like that you had mentioned and highlighted just the expertise part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to bring in a lot of different opinions and information to that, and I think that, I don't know, I think that's a good idea. I think that's going to, again, bring up maybe further questions and different things for them to look into, because they have outside perspectives coming in. So as far as expanding who's on that, I think I could get behind that. I think that, there would be a lot of people that would support that, or just maybe have that in the back of their mind as well as they're looking into it further more.
Because that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, they should.
And that's one thing too, before I keep diving in, when I was looking at that YouTube video, it had like 50 some views. Yeah. So like these things are out there. They should be watched. And 99% of the time, nothing interesting happens at them. It's just a 2.5 hour meeting of, our 3 of the 5 highest positioned people in the state. But like, it's not that entertaining, but these things are out there for a reason. And a lot of times, or at times in the past, meeting minutes have been delayed getting out. So sometimes when the videos are out, that's the best way to go sometimes. Yes. And I recommend anyone to watch North Dakota Industrial Commission on YouTube. Just like the city council meetings, just like if you ever watch the legislature, it's all there. It's all worth watching.
Yep. And it's good to be informed and to know these things. And so I like that is, and it's accessible, obviously very accessible to people. And I just think people need to take the time to look at it, to read articles.
Man,
and
that's
it's just, there's a lot that gets missed. And then
without a doubt, that's in general.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oof, yeah. One other thing with this though, since you got me on a topic I'm passionate about here, we have the Attorney General as a member of it, and I am saying nothing wrong with Attorney General Wrigley being there. He has done the same thing every one of his predecessors for the last 100 years has done. My thought is just, in general, should the Attorney General be in that position? This is the only Attorney General in the entire country that has the ability to issue loans, grants, and be on a board of that nature, because so often this is the top law enforcement official in a state. And this is the person that, like we just saw with the veto, has to issue a legal opinion on this stuff. So say something gets challenged in a court of law that they approve or that they are going through a project with, and it comes back and he has to either issue an opinion or try to defend it. And it just feels like there's a lot of room for mixed messages to come from that.
Right. Oh, I fully agree with that. Again, it really comes back to, I know we say it a lot, but there's just a lot of substance to it when we say checks and balances, and when does it become too much for a person to have that much discretion or authority, and involvement with certain things. And so I think that's, like I said, something that, like you said, this has been gone on for so long, no one's really thought about it, but now they are. And I think it's always good to go back and look at things and say, okay, yeah, sometimes things that we've been doing for so long isn't always the best thing, and maybe there are changes we could make.
Yeah.
So,
and back like in the day when it was just the state bank, the mill, and like the builders association that they were in charge of at the start. I mean, that's one thing. You maybe have the Attorney General there is even a good thing in a lot of those cases. Right. But as the years have gone on and this thing's expanded, like now all of a sudden they're in charge of the Outdoor Heritage Fund. They're in charge of leasing and mineral rights. If you want to build a pipeline in the state, they're the group that has to approve it. But on the flip side, they also do a lot of regulatory duties. So it feels like there's some things that are a little bit potentially conflicting in their scope of practice there. And it just feels like this is something that could be expanded on and maybe transformed here going into the future. Right. But see if anyone wants to take up that effort. I'll do my part, but
I guess what I think about too is, as the Attorney General, you've got a lot of power right there. So, I mean, even if something were to happen with that commission, I mean, who's that going to end up, whose desk is that going to ultimately end up on anyway?
The odds are.
So, I mean, so.
Why can't you, and again, this is nothing at Attorney General Wrigley. This is just the general scheme of the whole thing. Why can't you just allow yourself to be a legal advisor? You can still sit in on the meetings and on the board, but you're just maybe not a voting member at that point. You can provide legal analysis to the meeting and to what they're doing. But when you start voting on that stuff, that just opens up that conflicting part of the game. Then, like, again, this is the example I've used, and it's vague and it hasn't happened, but say they approve a oil pipeline at some point in part of the state and something happens with it, or someone doesn't like where it's at and they challenge it legally. How is he going to provide a neutral and objective opinion on it when it's something that he's voted on?
Exactly.
That's where I stand on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're listening, be sure to check out part 2 that hopefully comes out this Saturday, where I dive into some ideas on that, which is the one that I thought was really going to gain the traction, but I mean, it's probably going to be flip-flopped at this point.
No, I think people are invested, Kyler.
I hope
People are
so.
invested right now, and when it does come out, I think a lot of people are going to look into it and want to follow up and see what you found and get more of your insight on that.
Well, if you're really interested, reach out to your local legislator. Let them know about it.
Yeah.
That's the one to really talk, because all Kyler does is yap on Minot Talk. They're actually out there making the legislation. So if you want something to really change, those are the ones to reach out to about this situation. I'll gladly take any of your comments or talk to anyone about it. But yeah, I can't do anything official to change it except poke and prod the bear a little bit and bug some people.
Yeah. And sometimes that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do sometimes, Lisa.
Yeah.
You know that. You've been there.
I have.
So, do you have? We're getting close to the end. Do you have anything else you want to dive into? You want to talk about before we start wrapping up?
Not really. I mean, other than just encourage everybody to make sure that they get out and vote. I mean, I know we talk a lot about that, but I don't
3
feel like we
weeks?
stress that enough. Please go out and vote. And I know you had mentioned the interview coming up. Take time to listen to those interviews and take time to reach out to the candidates with your questions if you weren't able, like me, to make all the events in June. But make sure that you're talking with your neighbors and your family, and just make sure that you're not sitting this one out. It's very, very important, and one of the best things you can do for Minot.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I guess something that we've talked about and asked a lot of people, and following the election, there's so if Josiah wins, there's no contest. It's 7 people on the council. It is what it is. We move on. If any of the other 3 win, there's still a vacated city council seat that they have to appoint someone to.
Yep.
Do you think they'll struggle, the 6 of them, to come to a 4-person agreement to appoint someone? Or do you think it'll be an easy thing where they get it done in?
I'm going to say I think it might be a little bit of a struggle. Just for various
I think
reasons,
that's the general consensus.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not either. I don't want to say that this is, I mean, it has taken a long time, and it's going to, just with the race itself, but there's a lot of other things coming up too, the potential for maybe a new city manager. I mean, that's still, something we kind of have to keep
Completely
a
forgot
radar.
to talk about that.
Yeah,
gosh.
he's one down to the 3 finalists
Yep,
now.
he's
Going to be there at the 14th, I believe.
Yep. Yesterday he had his interview.
Oh,
it was yesterday.
Oh,
that's why it was.
Sorry.
That's why it was Tom Joyce that was the MC at the event, the
yes.
assistant city manager.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot about this. I was going to talk about this at the start.
Oh.
Gosh, now here we are. Thank you for bringing it, because we forgot to talk about it on Thursday too.
Oh,
and we were
okay.
going to talk about it. So yeah, City Manager Harold Stewart is again interviewing for the same position in a different city in Washington than the first one. He's out there, I believe, still right now. He probably is traveling back today, but on Sunday, Monday, he had interviews set up out in Washington, and we're waiting to hear back if there's, I'm actually looking up right now to see if there's any news here. And if there is, I'll break it to you right now. But as of last night, there was nothing new coming out.
Okay.
And doesn't look like yet. Yep. Still, last thing they had is they interviewed the finalists.
Okay.
So we'll see how that plays out here in the next couple days. If I see it today at any point, I'll put an article about it one way or the other.
Right.
And regardless, wish Harold nothing but the best, however it plays out.
absolutely.
If he's back, look forward to seeing him at the next city council meeting. And if this is the way it ends up going, then hopefully it all works out.
Yeah. I just think they'll probably be ready at that point to just like, all right, let's just appoint someone and get this, going forward, just in the off chance that we do have to go through
Another
the process of
transitionary
another transition.
period.
But it is. You've got potential city manager, mayor, city council,
Police
chief of
chief,
police.
yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot for a city to go through all in such a short amount of time too. I mean, it's
technically like 10 months, but really this since January is when it really, that's when Klug was officially transitioned, and Plessis took over at that point, and then Ross was in March, and then now here we are.
Yeah.
And now, gosh, it's been a crazy year in Minot, Lisa.
It has. It absolutely has.
I can only imagine what Leif would have been thinking right now.
Oh, I know.
He would have been living for this environment in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt. I think that's any final words, final thoughts, takeaways. I know you already got your voting comment in, and then we went down the city manager rabbit hole. So
yeah, like I said, it's been a lot coming back. I felt like everything kind of hit me all at once. I mean, I told you I got summons for jury duty like second day I got back. I was like, payback for being gone for so long, right?
You leave for a few weeks on vacation and come back and everything happens all at once.
Well, June, just in general, there was so much that went on, just with what happened in Minnesota with the lawmakers that were shot.
And I mean, you were out there when
I was
happened.
out there. My sister was actually in Apple Valley. Her daughter had a softball tournament, and they were told to evacuate and to leave.
Wow.
So it was chaotic for her, and it was scary. It was scary just knowing that, especially during the time that this guy was still on the run and hadn't been captured yet.
Yeah, for that first day or two there. Yeah.
And there was that was a very full lineup of events that were going on in Minneapolis during that time as well too. So it was just,
school had just gotten out. It was a big weekend going on. Like there was a lot of stuff happening and terrible situation. Silver lining, I did see the state rep that was shot that survived. He got out of the hospital after he was shot like 8 times or something, which is horrible situation, but incredible he was able to even make it out of the hospital at that point. So yeah. And on another sad note, as we're ending here, shout out to Lieutenant Governor Michelle Strinden and her family. Unfortunately, her husband, Dr. Strinden, passed away over the weekend. He'd suffered from cancer for a while. So another unfortunate situation there.
A lot of loss in the community, but I know that's strength that we have as a state, and not just community of Minot, but we really band together and
part of that. There has to be loss for growth to happen in a lot of times. So unfortunately, not great situations, but life goes on. We had a great talk.
Yes.
I had fun. I appreciate you coming on, Lisa.
Thank you.
I always love hanging out. And as always, thanks to everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe, share the video around, hit the bell button for notifications on Facebook so you get that notification as soon as the fuller interview comes out. And as always, thanks so much. And we'll hopefully be back on Thursday if I can figure out which the right card is here. Yeah. Have a